Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Black Astronauts RUNE recaps Westworld episode 10, the bicameral mind.
Bicameral mind.
Which we will explain completely, right? We know what that means, right, Aaron? You ready? You want to explain that for the people?
No. Don't you?
Okay.
So, see, this is the thing. We had the one episode where I decided to actually do some nerdy shit and look up some stuff, and now Feek be messing with me all the time. I ain't taking it no more, Feek.
Well, we gonna battle because you think that Dr. Ford is the good guy, and you're so wrong.
No, we'll get into it, but I don't necessarily say that he's the good guy.
Okay,
we'll go with it. Okay, but let's get into it. Damn it.
So this is as I said, RUNE recaps Westworld podcast for the Black Astronauts podcast. We do this podcast weekly for the last 10 weeks for the show Westworld on behalf of HBO, partly because we saw the previews for the show and we're like, yeah, that looks like some shit we need to watch, but also because we were lucky enough to have HBO come and check us out and say, hey, we want you all to be involved with some of the promotional material and the rollout of the show, which gave us access to some cool features and really just put us into the main vein and at the forefront of the show's fandom, which since episode 10 has greatly expanded, as I'm sure anybody who's been listening from day one recognizes. And rightfully so, because this last episode was it was that deal.
They stuck the landing. How do you stick the landing on something?
Stuck the landing, yeah. It was really probably the best episode of TV I've watched all year. I'm trying to think. The last episode of Game of Thrones is tough too, though.
Yeah, you know what? The episode before the last episode of Game of Thrones,
and that one,
that was real tough because it's
tough.
Just because of the battle. But this was right up there, man.
Right.
This is right up there.
So right up there, this HBO's winning. So we got a lot to talk about. First, let's get to these emails. Other people who are also freaking the hell out over this last episode. Hey, I'm going to actually start.
Hey, do me a favor, Feek. Just move your mic a little bit. It's some weird echo in the background. I can't figure out where it is. Just tilt it up a little bit.
I'm actually holding it. Is that better?
That's way better. Yeah, do whatever that is. Stop.
Okay. Cool. I just realized I was kind of holding it in a weird angle. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to get started with emails. The first one is from Charlie Mack. Greetings, my fellow blurs. This is Charlie Mack sending this shout out from Montgomery, Alabama. I would just like to say how much I enjoy the reviews and all the other shows of the BAP network. Thank you very much, Charlie. Just like Feek on the episode 8 review, I would like to start with Bernard because it allows me to talk good about myself. I'm feeling like Ray J because I hit it first. After episode 2, I called it that Bernard was the host. Damn, you was real early. You know what I'm saying? So I got to give you props for that because I definitely was not on the Bernard as a host thing until I don't know if I ever was. It had to happen for me to really take it seriously. In fact, if I keep it 100. Anyway, I even tweeted you both, so I have the receipts. LOL. You can check out my Twitter at CharlieMac334. Expected me to send this email. Yes, but that's what makes the show so great. Everyone using their blurred senses to try and figure out what's going to happen next. I must admit I might have been right about that, but everything else I've been completely wrong about. On your timeline theory, I'm a little lost. 1 week I agree where you're coming from. The next week I have no idea where you're trying to take it. I'm sending this email Monday morning after the finale, and I've yet to watch episodes 9 and 10. So excuse me if it seems out of place, but I enjoyed your review so much I had to put in my 2 cents. I worked graveyard shift, and I would like to thank you guys for helping me get through many long nights. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to reviews 9 and 10. Hopefully, many seasons to come. Indeed. Thank you very much, Charlie Mack. I hope. First off, thanks for supporting the show. I'm happy we can help you out on that graveyard shift. Enjoy episodes 9 and 10 because they're gonna fuck y'all up.
When you hear this, just get ready. Or actually, we're sorry. And also, if you're listening to this, we were fucking right. The timeline, we were right.
We did. Now, I will say, like, to keep it 100, this show was, I won't say it was easy to predict because that's not true at all. But in the culture of theorizing about a show's lore, this was, and I said this from the beginning, and I haven't talked about this in a minute. This was a show designed for people like us, for nerds, for lore theory fan type people, because they left you just enough to keep, that the fandom percolating and spreading stuff and making memes and making YouTube videos for us to follow.
You got your meme, by the way. You got your meme.
Which one did I get? I got my Stay Woke from
no, the Bernard one. I don't see anything.
I don't see anything. Yeah, but I wanted that moment.
Oh,
I wanted that moment. I wanted somebody. It's coming again. Somebody is a host that we know but don't know that they're a host. I don't know who it is, but it's coming. Anyway. But yeah, Charlie, thanks so much, man. Yeah. Props on being right about Bernard. Aaron, you called that, but you didn't even call it till like episode 4. I
didn't even call it till like 4.
And even at the time, you were just kind of like nebulously guessing. So for somebody to call it after 2, and we didn't have shit after 2. You know what? Did he see the picture after 2?
Yeah, he did. He saw it in the second episode.
Yeah, so and maybe that's where, it's so funny. That seems so obvious now.
Yeah.
But anyway, hindsight's 2020. One more email. Want me to go ahead and read that one?
Yeah, just go ahead and read it.
All right. Let me actually click on it. This is from, I'm going to just say P, Jr. The season finale was everything. It was so good. I know some folks think Ford was redeemed in some way, but I say fuck Ford forever, ever, ever. He had people killed when he was still alive, and he started the Cylon War with his death. Thank you, P. Jr. That's basically my fucking argument. We gonna wait for that. Side note: Westworld is the BSG prequel. Cylon created the story we all wanted. Ford remains a damn devil. He played everyone and us. Maeve is so gangsta. I wonder if it was Arnold or Ford who wrote the story of her escape. Maeve hit the outlaw dude with the ultimate curve. His girl Armistice is a Terminator. Did Maeve come back to find her daughter because she chose it, or is it programming? That's a good ass fucking question. It was so dope how Maeve had Felix create a new body that would allow her to leave. Felix thinking he was a host was hilarious. Felix is the perfect example of your dick is not your friend. Shogun World. I thought it was Samurai World, but I guess Shogun World makes sense as well. Love this show. Your podcast also made the show more enjoyable. I binged the podcast episodes before the finale. Looking forward to next season and the podcast. P.S. Fuck Ford. Appreciate you, P.
Yeah, hey. So first of all, shouts out to Peyton, man, because I see him all the time in the black guy who tips Nerd Off chat. So
that's what's up.
He got that hardware. His icon is hardware, the comic book.
Hardware. Why do I remember that?
I'll send you.
Is that that DC imprint?
Yeah, from back in the day.
What was that called?
Not Vertigo. Shoot.
It was a DC imprint where we got Static Shock. Icon. Oh man, I gotta go buy that shit. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So man, let's just jump in. So let me start with my only critiques. Can I do that? Because you know how I am.
Yeah, I ain't got a bunch of critiques. I do have one, but I have a bunch. Go ahead.
So my first critique is, where is young Hemsworth and presumably Elsie? I still hold that those two are together in some form of fashion. I don't understand why they would give us such a nebulous scene at the end of episode 9, like almost like the second to last scene probably in episode 9. I don't understand why they would do that and then not have it pay off at all in this episode. They had an hour and 40 minutes to, give us just like I just knew, especially when we had the cold ending with female Terminator with what was her name?
Oh crap! I've been saying her name the whole time too.
Right. He just said her name. What do you call
Armistice.
Armistice.
Yeah, Armistice.
Anyway, Armistice is like moment at the end, which was so dope. So I assumed that like they were gonna blink back in and show, young Hemsworth with Elsie, and Elsie is basically saying like, here's what I think Elsie's gonna do next. Elsie somehow found out everything before Bernard did whatever, and I think she's still alive. I almost guarantee you she's still alive, and she and so like her and him are somehow going to be key figures in this oncoming war that is clearly on its way. So this is the thing. I do believe that, and the reason I believe it now, because I was on the Elsie dead bandwagon, right,
but they didn't kill young Hemsworth, man. Like, they didn't kill him. So
yeah, they didn't show him die in any form or fashion.
Well, and then he was with the native people, was he not? Didn't he get taken by the native people?
And the native people have always had, from what, you know, the lore seems to indicate that the native people have a strong connection with, you know, the outside world. So we might find, like,
they might already be conscious and are just hiding it.
Yeah,
you know
just chilling.
Like, or willing and learning to live with the humans versus, you know what I'm saying? Like, versus,
because we still haven't fully explored the fact that there is clearly a culture of, there's clearly a culture, or there are clearly multiple quote unquote woke hosts that they've showed us. The little girl was definitely woke. The guy that walked up to what's her name? Dolores.
Dolores.
There was a guy that walked up to Dolores at a certain point that was definitely woke. So there are definitely more woke hosts than what we've seen.
They said the number at one time, didn't they say like 43 or something like that? Like the older ones, or it was like 43 of the older ones.
You know, I'm not sure. You know, her father, who's woke, is running around out there with data in his head. Like they left a lot of juicy nuggets for season 2.
And they also decided to clear out the warehouse of all the motherfucking androids that had been lobotomized.
That shit was straight from fucking Skyrim. To see like a line of motherfuckers coming to kill you, all in their costumes.
I was like, nope. When I saw Clementine, I was like, nope.
The dude with the holding 2 axes. You know. So there's that. So I said before that I would be very disappointed if it turns out that Ford knew everything about Maeve.
I was wondering if you were going to say something about that,
right?
Because I wasn't going to be disappointed, but I was curious to see what you thought about it.
So the way they did it was good. The way they did it made it work. I was afraid they were going to, like, if Ford would have maintained his character line of just being an evil, megalomaniacal villain, and somehow he knew about Maeve and Bernard and the data and everything else, I'd have been like, okay, this dude is Batman.
But he clearly didn't know about the data. So far, from what we can see.
But he knew about the stuff because he was planning it from the get-go, and that works because it changes the motivation for his character and it makes it less plausible. And then it was an awesome payoff. Just the last 5 minutes of this show, when Radiohead popped on, and like they snuck us on that too, because I feel like they hadn't played a song from the piano in like 2 or 3 episodes.
No, they had been playing the same theme. They had been playing the theme slowed down and sped up. Which, by the way, the theme in the techno version of it, with the when they're in the host area where they're like where Maeve is getting built. When that scene comes on and the lights are going and it looks like lasers, nigga, that looks something straight out of anime.
I mean, I've been saying that from jump. This is an anime. This is definitely an anime ending. This was fucking, spoiler alert, this is fucking Lelouch the Rebellion getting killed at the end of, I don't remember what episode that was in Code Geass, which is, the comparison made a lot more sense at the end now, but
yeah.
Let's just move all around.
Yeah, let's go. Let's start at the beginning and go from there. How about that?
Let's go with the Man in Black and Doris. I like how they wrapped up the Man in Black story. The Man in Black story.
Hey, you gonna quit calling this woman Doris and start calling her Dolores?
I really need to start calling her Dolores. Huh? There's definitely an L there. I've never called her Doris in 9 fucking shows.
9 shows.
And now she's anyway. So William, aka the Man in Black. His shit came full circle. Everybody predicted it back probably like episode 4, I think, was when that prediction started getting real hot. I'm not mad at people guessing it because, like, you're supposed to be able to, you know, that's how they designed it. If they wanted it to be much more, it's one thing, like, there's between being predictable and leaving breadcrumbs. Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. He was predictable in a way that it was still interesting.
Right.
It left a lot to the imagination until the second to last episode. And then you're like, oh, it all came together. You went crazy in here.
Right. Yeah, for real. Yes, because something's predictable when it's like they've set up a trope, that you've seen 100 times, and they're not acting like you know it, but you know it anyway, and they just do it, and they're like, surprise. It's like, no, I've seen this before. This is predictable. I already know what you're doing. Whereas when you design a character arc to have certain events happen and to reveal a certain mystery, that is what they did with the Man in Black with William. They let us follow it, and they wanted us to figure it out. And even still, people like us, we figured it out. But so many people I know that are watching the show were like, oh shit, the Man in Black was William the whole time. I didn't even realize, whatever.
Because a lot of people were confused by that timeline. Dude, do you know how many people didn't realize it was multiple timelines?
A lot of people didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And that's dope. I fucks with that, super hard. And then it makes sense. And the way he even explained it, that he thanks her for waking him up to his real character. The only thing that I don't like about his arc is his confession when he was tied up with Teddy, which even now makes even less sense. You know what I'm saying?
I don't remember what the confession was.
When he said he stabbed Maeve and
yeah, that didn't resonate with me after, maybe he was coming to the park any other time to be a black hat, but it was part of the script, and he went off script, and
fucked up shit.
Yeah, and he just killed a woman and her child that was just living in, committed actual murder this time.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's a pretty weak, and it was a weak reveal even at the time, because I was just kind of like, okay, but overall, the moments with his brother, who he played extra hard, riding him off into the sunset naked. Was that killing him? Like, that wasn't supposed to be him dying, was it?
I don't think he's dead either, but this is the thing. It's been 30 years. First of all, let's talk about this timeline shit for 2 seconds. I want to get it out the way. That picture he first had that picture, and it looked like it was modern times, right? And that's obviously the beginning timeline because they're younger.
Right.
How long has passed since, was William the original incident? Was he a part of the original incident, or
No, he wasn't. No. Okay, I get you.
You see what I'm saying?
So the original incident happened only a couple of years before they got there, and then because I think so Ford even explained.
So that was Dolores when Dolores was Wyatt.
Right.
Okay.
When she shot Bernard.
Okay.
That was before William pops up.
So when William pops up, if you look at that picture, though, that picture looks like it's taken in a modern 2000.
Yeah. Looks like she's in front of a bus stop.
So they're young. How old is she now? Well, she's dead now, but how much?
Well, I'm assuming it kind of in their 60s is how they're being depicted.
So that's what I'm saying. They were if you're looking at it, the timeline, that's why I said 5 years until the park.
35 years.
Well, no,
30 years present.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. The 30, I just did it backwards. The 35 for the original park opening, 30 when the incident happened.
No. Okay, no. That's
30 when they come.
Right.
When they come to the park, when William and Logan come to the park, and then present. So what does the world look like right now?
That's a good question, because 30 years from now, I don't know if we have some of the shit we saw. But they were using P90s, you know what I'm saying? They weren't using laser guns.
Yeah.
That's P90, right?
But
the gun.
Everybody
hated when you got it in James Bond because it was going to kill you.
Oh, the golden gun? Yeah,
not the golden gun. I'm almost positive it's called a P90. But that was the automatic handgun they had in this episode. But finish what you're saying.
Well, no, what I was going to say is that if they had this technology, this much advanced technology 30 years ago, that's what I'm saying. Where do we
you're talking about
now?
what is our timeline?
Right. Like, what does outside look like? Because if it was like that 30 years ago, I'm sure it ain't gonna look like the same. You know, like if you have an underground facility full of an ocean, and you have multiple levels of ocean, like that.
It'll be interesting because I wonder if they're going to, like, they have so much space that they don't have to go outside of the park next season. But I wonder if they will.
They got to, man. They got.
They don't have to yet. I feel like it's gonna be even more. I feel like what they're gonna do is they're gonna save getting out of the whole next season is probably gonna be finding a way to get the robots out of the park. That is what I think the MacGuffin is going to be. So they're going to save that for the moment when it actually happens in the season finale next season. Right. Because taking them out of the park, like after not giving it to us for a whole season, that means that's something to savor for the audience. You see what I'm saying?
That is true. Yeah.
So they're definitely going to save that. If it happens at all, it'll happen at the end of next season. I bet you. So William has his moment with Dolores. He reveals himself just to be a freaking, Xbox achievements whore.
but you know what though?
He's a hardcore gamer.
But this is the thing, in his weird, twisted mind, I think he's still trying to, like, when he first saw Dolores, he knew she was conscious. Like, and that's why he bought the park. Like, he bought the park because he knew something special was here. But it was weird to me that he was dense. Like, he didn't know what the park was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that makes sense. But go ahead.
About the maze shit. Like, if you've been coming here for 30 years, dog, you think that you've scoured every part of this park for the most part. And you would think they would hide some special secret thing there. And in reality, the whole time, if you thought for 2 seconds, like we said, it was the consciousness. That's what what was in the middle of the maze. You said that like 2 episodes ago. Right.
Yeah, but as a hardcore gamer, he was more caught up in the process. He was disappointed. It's kind of like me playing Mass Effect 3.
That was my one flaw, man. I did not like that.
You didn't like that? No, I thought that made perfect sense. Really, it's when you think about it, because there's definitely a strong sense of video game philosophy, if you will, in the way this show is. And if you're like a completionist and or are really enthralled with a game's world, so Mass Effect is my favorite series of games of all time. I fucking love those games.
Oh, by the way, did you see the trailer?
Yeah, hell yeah, I saw the new trailer. And like I played the first 2 especially dozens of times to change every little thing about how the world shapes. So, and that's a world where you only get like 3 or 4 different results from the things you change. So imagine having a world as deliberate and expansive as that and having it to play all this over 30 years. Yeah. So of course, when you hear that the best DLC ever is the maze, you're going to follow that shit like it's legit because everything else has been legit. And, he thought he was going to, take it up to hard mode where the host could fight back. And that all this makes sense. And you are correct in that he recognized the consciousness on some level. But to me, it makes, perfect sense as a hardcore gamer, which is what he is essentially, which is why he had that huge smile on his face when he got shot. He's like, oh shit, it's lit, bruh.
And it's also, he's realizing that they're conscious. So I wonder so the cast has already come out. Not Anthony Hopkins. What's the other dude? Ed Wood comes back. He didn't even die in the end of this episode. Yeah. If you're listening to this, you should know that already. But what I'm thinking is, now is his heel turn complete? Now is he good?
Yeah. Now he goes berserk. Now he has what he wants. He has the Westworld on hard mode that he's, been fiending for. And so I think he joins the humans in, trying to, because there's no heal or face it in this situation. Or the faces have to be the humans.
It's just a bunch of Stone Cold Steve Austins.
It's a bunch of Stone Cold Steve Austins. The faces have to be the humans because they're fighting for their survival now.
But at this, Ford, it makes sense what Ford said. He's like, "Hey man, it's gonna happen eventually. This shit is gonna happen."
And I don't fuck with y'all. So fuck y'all.
By the way, and I know we're all over the place on this. It's mostly me, but I went to the website. I'm not gonna pull it up, Feek. Shit's changed on the website.
Word.
It is fucking. Just, you know what? Just go there.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that shit.
It's fucking terrifying. Like that little Ford shit. It starts off with that now, but it's a bunch of different stuff. And the AI that you talk to and try and ask questions, the questions are way different now. And they're all like, "Hey man, what are you doing here? I recognize you, but you don't recognize me." I'm like, "Oh fuck." And then I got
is not cool.
I got an email from Westworld saying, "Dear Delos employees, you need to check in right now. Nothing's wrong, but we do need you to use your special login password just to verify that you're safe."
Wow. That's so marketing, these motherfuckers. Anyway, so it's the robot apocalypse, but bruh, so he's definitely going to be with the humans. He's going to probably act in bad ways and do bad things to characters we like. I feel like since Maeve and so let's jump to Maeve now.
I love Maeve in this movie.
I love Maeve so much. She's so awesome. And
we've been saying it every episode. Hopefully, if we get approved for Comic-Con, we can interview her. Thandie Newton fine as shit, dog.
Fine as shit. Acted her ass off this whole season. And just the totality of what she did here, the ruthlessness, it works. She's kind of she's Khaleesi like. Probably better, less flawed.
Well, she has flaws, but it's not really a flaw. It's just self-preservation.
Right.
And who programmed her to have a bunch of self-preservation?
Mr. Ford.
Is it? Is it though? Was it Ford?
Hey, we'll see. I think it's Ford, but there is definitely, they left that a lot more nebulous than everything else. It doesn't necessarily, they've made no indication that Ford had anything to do with Maeve. This whole time they made it seem like he did this last episode, but they didn't really double confirm that for us. And it's especially interesting that Bernard says when he's looking at her file that she goes to the mainland and when she gets there, blank, blank, blank. But she clearly leaves the train and goes back into the park right as the revolution is starting.
Right.
So. There's you wonder maybe she wouldn't have got out because did the train actually pull off after she got out of it?
It did pull off, but then the power went out. So,
right. So did the train? Did nothing actually happen to the train? So yeah, there's so much there to that. But the question is, what is her role in the next season? I don't see her join. So Dolores clearly is she's now. The general.
We will see that black outfit next season.
Right. We'll see that black outfit. She might catch fade on the left side of her face to make it all to come together. I have to say this. That actress wasn't really doing much for me in costume, but her look is kind of punk rockish. I'm like, oh, okay.
It is. Yeah.
Do your thing.
Rachel Wood is all right.
Right. So I imagine that Maeve is going to represent almost her own singular entity kind of caught in the middle.
She's definitely going to be the little finger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And she also has ties. I hope Sylvester is going to escape the robot zone.
Yo, dog. No, Sylvester, you mean Felix? Who do you mean?
Felix. I'm sorry. Yes, the Asian guy.
Yeah, Felix. Guy. Hey, so side note. I was right on this shit. Sylvester was a fucking robot. Ain't no way you get stabbed in the neck and come back, dog.
No, they didn't cut his jugular.
But they cut him in the fucking neck and then healed him with the same tool that Ford used to heal.
But it's skin. The skin is organic. I disagree.
The humans that don't have a magic heal stick, dog.
They do in 30 years in the future, where they have also robots that you can control with computers.
I don't believe that
with tablets. We gonna fight. We just gonna fight. I'm gonna mail you these hands. I completely disagree with you. You cannot. Sylvester is human. He is a human. He did not want.
But what if? But feet. Yes, he can be. He's not a human. He can still be programmed.
No, he is a human. I guarantee you, he's a human. Okay. I don't know how. I don't have any more proof than just I disagree, but I don't think he's a robot. It just makes more sense to him being human, because Levi is a human, and Maeve clearly recognized that Levi was a human this whole time.
Who do you keep saying?
Huh?
Levi. Who the hell is Levi?
Levy? What's the Asian guy's name? What's the Korean guy's name?
Jesus. Okay, we're gonna keep moving.
Man, what's wrong with me? What's his name for real?
We're professionals on this show. I can't remember, but it's not Levi.
It is Levi. And let me Google that while I finish my point I'm making. The question is, does this guy break out of the robot zone? I feel like we're gonna get like a Samuel Tarly moment with him. Maybe not anytime soon. Dang, it must not be his name. You're gonna get a Samuel Tarly, moment with him where he finally gets, because it's very clear and it's really well acted by him, because he doesn't do much. He just really looks, and you can tell that the looks he's been giving to Maeve the last 2 episodes have become more and more looks of infatuation. You know what I'm saying?
So I agree with that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be dead.
Well, I think he catches it. I don't think he survives, because that's another reson why I think she gets caught in the middle, because she has human.
It was Felix, by the way.
Felix. Where'd I get Levi from?
Where the fuck? No.
I don't know. But she has a human to protect. That's her closest companion and ally.
I love that line too. Hey, you're a horrible human being.
You're a horrible human being, and I mean that as a compliment. And that was adorable. Like, I want more of that, because one thing I'll point out, there's very little levity in this show. I didn't realize it at the time.
It's grim.
But if you think about it, it's grim and it's serious. And like, that was the funniest moment of the season. I'm laughing. Just think about it. When he looks at his hands. And it was so dumb, but it was like perfect.
Because I mean, honestly, if somebody walked up to me and said I'm a robot, I might have to look at my hands.
If your wife walked in and said, "Yeah, I'm a robot," the babies never actually came out of me, you'd be like, "What am I?"
Or if I just woke up and I was on some table, like,
right?
What the fuck?
Right. So what was I saying? So that was dope. Yeah. So her whole arc was dope.
Yeah. Maeve held it down. Who knew she was going to be the star of the show?
Yeah, I definitely didn't. There were some criticisms the night of our HBO thing. One of the commentators was not, and understandably so. She was just kind of, taken aback by just having a black prostitute character. And I get that. I wasn't thrown by it just because I'm always a person who separates social context from art until it gives me a strong reason not to do so. But you gotta look at it and say, that was a complex acting job, and she arguably is the main character, like her, Dolores, and
I would definitely say the back half of the season, it was her show.
Yeah, she definitely had, but it's funny. I've also read online that a lot of people did not like her storyline.
Really?
Which I find really surprising. I don't know what there could have been to not like. I do get some people were frustrated by how dumb Sylvester and Felix were in terms of what they're doing. But I found her storyline the most interesting because it was partially because it was the deepest, you know what I'm saying? Because it really got to why shouldn't we stop her? You know what I'm saying? Why should we bother stopping her? You know what I'm saying? She's made of the same shit we are made of.
And some of the best moments came from her storyline.
Right. The Harriet Tubman speech last week. Pull yourself together, brother.
Get your shit in line.
I don't know who's listening, but I need somebody to give me the Black Westworld parody. Something stupid, of course, but just I feel like there's a lot of value there. So, make that happen. So nobody that does like really dumb ones, like somebody that does something smart. Issa, you handle that. Give me that. You on right before
it. Hey, Feek. Issa doesn't listen to our show.
You don't know that.
Trust me.
So, I think all that's left is to get into, the grand finale.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with Bernard or aka Arnold.
Did you see what they did with his hair to tell the difference?
No, I didn't.
If you look at his hair, when he's Arnold, his hair is a little higher, just a little higher off the top of his head.
He's just a little younger.
Yeah, and then when he's Arnold or when he's Bernard, he's hair is a little more groomed, a little more. You could tell that it's a difference if you look at the hair.
They didn't youngify him the whole time. They just kind of gave him younger makeup. Because last episode they youngified him in a moment, which was still good. It's so funny when you think about when they first did that in X-Men and it was like freaky. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I said Bernard. You're talking about Ford.
I'm talking about Arnold. Arnold, when he had his Arnold scene last episode, he was youngified. In episode 9, I'm almost guarantee you he was youngified.
I thought it was just makeup.
It was very light, but it was there.
Oh, okay.
But I might be wrong. Anyway, so his shit made sense. They did a really good job, especially knowing that a lot of the people that did Lost also did this, is what I heard. And I never watched Lost after like a certain amount of episodes because I just knew it was going to become the fuck fest it ended up becoming. So I give them props for really effectively wrapping. Oh, I gotta sneeze.
Wrapping up their storyline.
Yeah, bringing things to a sensible and satisfying conclusion. So like we kept hearing that Dolores killed Arnold. It's like, okay, why? Well, Arnold felt strongly about it. This is a man that lost a son. As a father of 2 sons, I can't imagine how losing a son would affect me. So it makes sense on so many levels that he would die in the name of causes related to that, related to that type of loss. So I get it. It makes perfect sense. It made sense why Ford, like his they gave us enough nuggets throughout the series. Ford, the fact that he came from an abusive relationship, home life, and has one happy memory as a child. Of course he doesn't give a fuck how humans work. You know what I'm saying? Of course he don't fuck with us that tough. Cylons take that shit over. Shut out the.
But that's not what I think. That's not what I think Ford is doing.
What do you think he's doing?
So there is a bit of fuck you in there, but I think he's more broken than anything. Like, man, because he seemed attached to the androids. You know what I'm saying? Like, he seemed attached to him. It wasn't like he was like wringing his hands. He was just kind of saying he was finishing where Arnold started. Arnold couldn't help you. I can. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get that. But I think that's more about his myopic worldview.
It wasn't. I don't think it was nefarious, dog. Like, I think that
I'm not saying it was. Well, it's not nefarious in like Adolf Hitler way, but he definitely just basically committed genocide. Like,
but this is the thing. If he's already, and this is another thing I was thinking about. Everybody in that board wants that. I guarantee you, everybody on Delos board wants his stuff. Like, they want to be able to make androids or for other reasons. Hey, you gotta get rid of them, dog. You gotta get rid of them.
Very true. He did have that moment. Now it makes more sense when he cried for like that split second. They didn't show it on camera. They edited it so it was very hard to see that it occurred. But I think his one scene with Dolores in the quote unquote present time, and she was naked.
Yeah.
He like shed a tear.
Goodness, we sound terrible right now. We'll have to edit all this out.
Sorry. The one time with Dolores when he was having a one-on-one convo with her, he shed a tear. So yeah, you're right in that there's definitely a connection there. But I think this is more about just his myopic worldview.
Well, he's
some people tend to be like, "Fuck the world" when they about to die. Like they don't care.
Well, he's searching for consciousness as well. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doing the same thing Arnold was doing, and what he said, which that was a Shakespeare speech, by the way. I'm sure you knew that, Professor. But what he was doing with Dolores was trying to, like Arnold said, bootstrap consciousness, and he realized it was said throughout the episode, loss is the greatest way to bootstrap that. Mm-hmm. Also, when he kept saying, "You know what you have to become," you have to become as callous as the humans.
I think he was actually saying you're going to be better than us. So I'll give you one thing. I think he has hope somehow that the robots will, in some possible way, be better than the humans. Ooh, excuse me. So sorry, y'all.
Good grief.
I think he has hope that the robots will somehow be better than the humans, in whatever their reign becomes. And Dolores gave that fucking villain speech.
Hey, it was so good.
Like, bro, I was like, fuck.
Hey,
I'm sorry for talking shit about you last episode.
The heel turn came so quick.
Oh, it came so hard. She's like, we not go. That's the person we really need to be worried about,
right?
Because I feel like we're not gonna want to fuck with Dolores at all. Because imagine being the only conscious robot. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she's going to have a whole different way of dealing with her own people that is probably going to create some problems. But, that whole group of, semi-conscious, robots from that down area. And that's another thing I forgot about is that. So we got that whole group. So everybody in the base in cold storage must have had some level of consciousness. We get that. And there's a couple littered throughout the park.
Well, Bernard explained it. He said, when they woke him back up, what happens to them? Most of them go insane, which is what happens when they put them in the cold storage. So, all of those, that's how you knew all of them.
I think they're coming back with a lot more. They're not going to be insane. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I think they fixed them. Like, I think May fixed them. That's the only way they will be able to get out of there.
But Ford and or Dolores.
Right, because this is the thing. Like, they gave him, what was it? Where they messed with their brain. I can't remember what the exact
lobotomy.
Lobotomy, yeah. They gave him a lobotomy. So, that's the only way to fix that is to do some magic robot stuff.
It's a little hand wavy, but I fucks with it because I'm excited to see. We're probably going to get a lot of new characters out of them next season. I feel like we're definitely going to get more Armistice next season because she's probably the breakout star of this episode.
Holy crap. I just thought about something, dog. Ford said he was building a narrative and Wyatt's army.
And they definitely look like like Wyatt's people.
That's what I'm saying. They were dressed in Wyatt's army. Did Ford make this army
to slaughter humans?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And that's why they you know what? A lot of these, I bet a lot of those robots are already not conscious, and they already have their pain sensors turned down, which is why
they were taking bullets like final bosses and shit.
And that's why
whenever they popped up,
that's why when they got Teddy and Man in Black got caught, that one android, she was like, "Look, you're not ready yet, baby."
maybe next time.
Holy
maybe
crap!
The next life.
That just hit me like 5 seconds ago.
So what do we make of Teddy? What does Teddy do? I know we're gonna get back to the end in a second. Teddy. I don't think. Go ahead.
Teddy's gonna be a white hat dog. I think he's gonna rebel. He's gonna be the one that is the hero, the robot hero. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like Teddy is not gonna be okay with, even when she talked to him going forward to kill Ford, he had a look that was like, I fuck with this. This ain't right. You know what I'm saying? She's already killed him once, and he remembers that now. Mm-hmm. And so like there's gonna be a lot of angst from him. He might actually get taken out by the Lord. That might be what cements her heel turn, is when she takes him out permanently and says, I don't have room for, some old, I don't have room for weaklings type shit. I don't know. So let's get to just the beauty of that ending scene. The combination of the pacing, the staging, the music, and just the final, just the sequence of him heading to the stage. And I think that the song start right when he shook his hand, I think.
Yep. And hey, dog, as soon as I heard those first couple bars, I was like,
right. Oh, no. And I was like, hold on, how's the song go? For some reason I can't remember the song now. It's exit music for a film by Radiohead. So the symbolic, just the symbolic. First off, it's Radiohead, who I don't know. I feel like they played Radiohead once or twice before.
They did one other episode.
Right. It's called Radiohead. It's from the fucking album OK Computer.
Can you get any more on the nose?
Right. And then the first lines of it. If you haven't looked this song up, please look this song up if you haven't. So the song that plays, for those who don't know, on the piano, the whole, if you listen to our podcast, one of the first things we noticed was they were playing contemporary alternative, basically college rock, because almost all of them are like 90s rock and alternative hits. They played this 90s college rock song by Radiohead called Exit Music for a Film. And it's a great song just in general, but the lyrics start, wake from your sleep, drown in your tears, today is the day we break loose, or some shit like that. And it's so on the nose, but yet done in such a clever and subtle way that I was like drowning in, the wows as I watched it. Like, this shit is great.
Hey, nerd, I think your nerd level hit critical at that point.
It definitely did. It definitely did. And then you combine that with Ford's on the nose speech.
You can put Hopkins on any stage and I'll watch him, dog. This monologue.
Yeah. And I knew Hopkins had to die at the end of the season just because it's Anthony Hopkins. I don't know if he's ever done a TV show. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, please do more TV shows.
Right. Goodness. Do everything you can. You still got it, bro. I feel like we're not done with him yet, though. I feel like there's a host, Dr. Ford, somewhere around here.
That's been a rumor going around. I don't like that, man. I would prefer maybe a flashback or another timeline, something like that. But I don't want to see him come back as a host, man. Because then that just means anybody can come back as a host.
It's not so much come back as a host. Like, it wouldn't be it would be for specific reasons. So I don't know if it works like the way you bring Superman back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely don't want them to bring Superman back from the dead in Dr. Ford, like do it where the consequences that we all, felt this past episode suddenly seem, non-existent. Like, I don't want them to do that, but I would like to see, we really are all fucked up. What's this dude's real life name? Anthony Hopkins. I would like to see Hopkins just come back and reprise that role because he was fucking terrifying the whole way through.
He was.
But I don't want him to come back and be like, all right, I'm back to the same shit. Nothing ever happened. I don't want that. So you're right in that regard.
The thing is, we didn't see what the android he was creating in his lab was.
We surely didn't.
And if he's honestly,
damn, who could it be?
I mean, if he's the puppet master pulling the strings,
it probably is him. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that could be the only way that I will be okay with that coming back. But even then, like, how do you survive, like, being in the park? Because everybody else dead. I guarantee you all the other humans dead.
No, I don't. She had a normal, like, 6-shot gun. I don't even think Teddy was shooting with her.
Like, but
they didn't show her actually. I think they showed her shoot one. I think they showed one woman get shot in the back, but I don't think she killed a lot of people. There's a whole small army in there. So I think that there's going to be a war. I think what I think is going to happen is they cut off the park from the rest of the world. So I think what you're going to see from the humans is like them trying to first weaponize the host they still have under their control, and then, you know, get themselves in gear, because I don't know if they're going to have a chance to get anybody else into the park in order to save them anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the main council place. Shit, I can't speak today. The main area where they look at the headquarters. Yeah, the mother room. The place where the shit goes down is on lockdown, man. Like, how do you even start to weaponize the host when everything's on lockdown? And these motherfuckers don't feel anything. So unless you cut their head off, what are you going to do to stop them?
They did purposely give us a bit of information that we didn't have, which is there's some type of cranial shield, did she call it? Or Felix called it on Bernard, because that was completely unnecessary to say. So I feel like putting that out there was important for the future, that they do have some type of weakness in their heads, you know, like zombies. Because I honestly don't think we've seen too many of the things get shot in the head.
Yeah, we haven't. We saw, did Lawrence get shot in the head? No,
Lawrence got hung. His wife got shot in the head.
Okay. Yeah, I knew somebody got shot in the head.
We didn't see that too tough. And they might have had it, because clearly they never really explained how the bullets work. But
yeah, magic at this point.
Magic, right. But, I'm sure there's some science behind, the idea that the bullets, don't, penetrate certain things or something along those lines. Yeah, because that's how, and that was another thing, was they had the pyrotechnic effect. Mm-hmm. So clearly they have some type of, magical element, not magic obviously, but some type of, voodoo science element that lets them decide when a bullet is going to penetrate something and when it's not. But yeah, going back to that scene. And so the setup of him going up there, doing his speech, having the song, like I was waiting for the drums to kick in, because I don't know if you're familiar with the song, but like the last verse, the last like leading into the chorus, like the whole song is acoustic. It's just him singing very melodically over that same kind of piano, doom, 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 whatever. And then it's not until the last 45 seconds of the song that you finally get drums and any other instruments, but it comes with such a thunder that you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. So it's a really, really good song.
You weren't explaining that to me, right?
I was for the audience.
I was about to say, who the hell do you think you're talking to?
So I know everybody's not up on Radiohead. I'm not even a super Radiohead guy. After OK Computer and Kid A, I was like, all right, I'm done. I think that's it, man. Is there anything we're missing?
So first of all, there are a couple things I just want to address. Westworld is ginormous. Right. And there's definitely a level system if it ain't a class system, damn it, because it's levels to that area. When Armistice looked up, it literally looked like it was going on forever.
Yeah, it did.
Which leads me to, if you want to get all the way out there and maybe think about some purgatory type shit.
Well, hell is empty. The devils are all here. That was definitely not an accidental quote.
I'm just saying, dog. Like it might be some more stuff to it. Anyway, the other thing I really wanted to get into is the Shogun feudal Japan world. I think
right. So is that something they had in development, or is there just a whole other? It looked like development to me.
It looked like it was development. But did you see the logo was changed?
Yeah, it was S World. SW. Yeah. You think we're actually going to get it? I don't think we're going to get the show.
Shogun World.
You think we're going to get a show about it, though? You're not saying that, are you?
Why wouldn't we?
Because it costs enough to do this show.
That's why they're not doing it to 2018.
We're not. There's no, Aaron. There's no way that would, because that breaks. I guess they could try to do some like fucking the Westworld universe.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say that they can't have Shogun World come in and come in to help fight. Like maybe they just access shows.
Oh, now that sounds cool.
You know what I'm saying? Because
that sounds stupid, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds stupid as shit. But
that would be so dumb, but I would love it. I would love watching like just the moment where they lower the conveyor door and there's like 50 samurais there and they're like, we found the weapon we need. Hey, like that scene's gonna happen.
Put it this way, there is no way they stay in Westworld. No way.
That I'll give you.
You said
that
what?
one I'll give you.
Yeah, I mean
that and I guess it wouldn't take much to reform that particular landscape into samurai landscape. It's not like the land was so different in feudal Japan.
I'm just saying that because in the movie they had the sequel to the movie was called Tomorrow World or something. Was it Tomorrow World? Future World. Yeah. Tomorrow World. And why can't they do a new phase or area or make it seem like Assassin's Creed? Let me put you in the Animus. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that.
So I do think that the samurai world wasn't just a one-off gag.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So I give you that. Felix clearly knew about it.
And that means everybody else knew about it too.
Right. So there's something to it. But it's hard to, it's hard to say. I just don't think they'll go too far down that rabbit hole because they've built a very well. Then again, like I said early in watching this, they could really take this a lot of places. They took a whole season just to bring it to Robot Apocalypse. You know what I'm saying?
I also love that Armistice grabbed her arm and ripped it off of her body,
right?
To show like that, Terminator's in full effect.
Yeah, like they should have gone ahead and played that when it faded to black in that last 5 seconds.
Can we also give a shout out to the set design, dog?
Yeah. It definitely looks. It had to be a really expensive show. Well, no, actually, not as expensive as a Game of Thrones and shows like that because they shot it all on one set. So they probably could put a lot of money into making sure the sets, held up and had a great look to them. As opposed to Game of Thrones where they're shooting all over the world.
Yeah. Also, Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. Like that. Let's not forget that it's 7 seasons in. I will say this before we wrap up because I know you want to wrap up, Feek. If y'all like this show, liked what we did with the show, hit us up, man. Let us know. Also, tell us what you want us to recap next. I have a couple ideas. I'm going to talk to Feek, see if we can keep this going, and try and do this for a couple different shows. Oh, and this is the first announcement. BAP will be doing Game of Thrones. We will be doing Game of Thrones this season. So
I might bring my wife home for that.
Hey, bring her on.
Rekindle that fire.
I won't even go there with you.
You were about to make a dirty joke about. You had to pause and say that's not right.
Feek, tell them where they can find us at.
You can find me at Feek Blurman. That's FIQ_BLERDMAN on Twitter, the website. Yeah.
And also, you can always donate to the show, Black Astronaut, PayPal.com, or PayPal.I. It'll be in the notes.
You see how much we want our money. Thank y'all so much. Like for those who are only introduced to the Black Astronauts via this show, thank y'all for hanging out. Please come check us out in our other, the other things we have to offer on the network. We're going to ramp back up pretty hard when in 2017 because 2016 is the fuckboy year. Man. You know what I'm saying? It is the Godfather 3 of years. It is the 3rd X-Men.
And you want to hear the craziest thing about it? It's been the most successful year for BAP too.
Yep, so, true.
But take the good, take the bad.
I'll give it all back if I could.
Yes,
I'll give it all back just for Prince and Bowie.
Yeah, and a new president. How about that?
A different president, right? Shit. But yeah, appreciate y'all.
No doubt, man. Until next time, y'all. We out.
Peace.